Hello, this is Johnny Cycles of CyclesGaming.com, bringing you another edition of Keeping Modern Janky, or maybe this should be called Dragons and Modern. We'll decide after I've played a few test matches. It's both Janky and Dragons, so it's probably Dragons and Modern is the best. We're definitely playing a lot of Dragons. So, anyway, we just finished 2 games, one against Tron, one against Demir Control, but both opponents scooped after game 1, so I guess we're back to that reality here in the free zone. But what we're trying to do is use Magda the Hoardmaster and a Hoard of Treasures to turn them into 4/4 flying Scorpion Dragons with haste. Our secondary plan would be Terror the Peaks with Stingerback Terror. That's a good draw for us. Well, Stingerback Terror is the new card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, 7/7 for 4 with the new plot mechanic at 3. So we casted it, we plotted on 3, and then we wait, either run it out when we're ready, when it's a good and it's 7/7 if that happens early, or we can just hard cast it at 4 if we don't have a lot of cards in hand. Or we wait till we have a Terror of the Peaks out and then we cast it for free and hopefully don't have any more cards in our hand and hit them for 7 or 6. Or we're up against another Demir control deck. And then the third game plan would be Urza Saga Constructs in conjunction with our treasure tokens. So since we'll be making treasure tokens with Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer, Striker Ridge, Fable the Mirror Breaker, and at Sushi the Blazing Sky, or I think it's just at Sushi Blazing Sky. When it dies, you get 3 treasure tokens, or you get to exile the top 2 cards of your library, and you can play them. Anyway, another one of my favorite dragons that I've tried to make work in various decks that has not had much success. Anyway, they are going to grow our constructs significantly, we hope, and allow us to swing in with gigantic constructs. And in my Demir matchup, definitely never auto-yield with Urza Saga, which is what I did. And then I didn't get my 4th construct in that game. Oh, this is Living End. I haven't seen Living End in a while. We have something in the sideboard for Living End, but I think we might just be dead to Living End. It'll be a fast first game. Hopefully they won't just scoop after they beat us 1 game. And I haven't had enough coffee. Oh, here comes Grief. What are you going to take? We have a lot of good cards. We also have a very slow hand for Living End compared to Living End. It's a great up the curve hand. But we can stomp something and get in an attack. We can cast Fable next turn, and since it looks like we'll get in, no, they're going to take our Fable. We could have cast Fable next turn. We got in this attack with a treasure token. We can start with Urza Saga and have that party going. Alright, don't always yield. You can always yield to that, probably. But don't always yield to the other things, remember? Johnny Cycles. We learned that lesson the hard way. In a very long game 1 that our opponent then scooped after when they had 5 minutes left on the clock. It was a fun game, don't get me wrong. Grindy back and forth against a Demir control deck, playing the new Jace Reawakened, casting Ancestral Vision and Tibalt for free. It would have been nice to see if we could grind with them in game 2, but it looked like from game 1 that it would be hard for us to slog through all the removal. We could just run out this Bone Crusher Giant, but we're not. Oh wait, we might stomp at the end of the turn. If they're a turn away from Living End, so we'll stomp. I mean, it's if they actually have the Living End in hand, we're dead. We're dead man walking right now. Dead man playing Magic. Yeah, I've almost considered reducing the amount of graveyard stuff I play because graveyard hate I play because I just haven't run into these graveyard decks much recently. Living End took a hit, obviously, or Living End didn't take a hit. It was the hold on. Don't always yield. And we drew another useless land. Alright, so we're flooding out pretty hard. That Fable would have been good in this spot. Play one of our lands. Anyway, I just haven't seen the graveyard decks after the Cascade banning, or yeah, the Cascade banning. Living End, you cascade into it, and so they have cut back the number of Cascade. Like, well, here they're playing white for it, so I mean anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's still early, and I'm only on my second cup of coffee, but that banning really pushed the Cascade decks. Seemingly, I mean, I haven't played in a league in a while, but pushed to the fringe of the format. So I almost was thinking I could take out my and then was Living End. I could almost take out my package of. I'm trying to think. Sorry about this, guys. And girls. I'm trying to think about whether we should just run out this Terror of the Peaks into. Do they have a subtlety? I kind of just want to do that, to be honest. It gives us so much game next turn. They know the Terror of the Peaks in our hand, so next turn, if this resolves, even if they Living End, they don't have haste, and if they don't have, I think they have some flyers, but we can do 4 just by casting the Bone Crusher. We can get float a mana, get the Lava Spur Boots, cast the Bone Crusher. I don't know. I mean, normally when you do Urza Saga, you definitely want to go all in on the Karnstruck plan, but when you have a beater like Terror of the Peaks and a chance maybe to resolve it, I don't know how much counter magic they play. I thought they didn't play any, to be honest, other than like, oh, never mind. I was gonna say didn't think they played any other than Subtlety and Force and Negation. Look at our beautiful, beautiful hand of mountains. Well, there goes that plan, folks. We'll still get a Karnstruct and a Lava Spur Boots or something like that, but if they Living End here, we're in trouble. So anyway, I almost took out the Graveyard Hate to finish that thought. I do have Relic of Progenitus in this sideboard, and that is one of the more fragile answers to Living End. You can get it with Urza Saga, but you don't get to just run it out there on turn 0 like a ley line and shut down all of their cycling. They get a lot of value. They can, I don't know, it gives your opponent more. They can counter it unless you can put it on the battlefield as a Saga. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, the rest in your graveyard. Alright, Whale of the Forgotten, I love that card. I really wanted to make it work in my Muldrotha commander deck, and it's in there, but I wanted to make it work in, I want to make it work in my Souls of the Lost deck. I just cannot find room for it. There's so many good cards. Alright, opponent's going to 6, really digging for that way to cascade. I mean, if we had drawn anywhere decent this game, I guess our opponent's also not drawn particularly well. They can't find their Cascade card, but man, Lightning Bolts, we have so many good answers. Let's see what we end up here with. Strike it rich. Right on time, buddy. Right on time. It does grow our Karnstruct, though. So we will put that on the stack. Make a token. That goes away. Alright, our opponent is down to 2. Are they gonna? Did they find their Living End? or Cascade's Bell, because they have a, and they scoop it up. They did not, apparently. I don't know why. They had another turn, didn't they? Well, anyway, we were not drawing very well that game. Alright, what do we do in the sideboard? And they scoop up the match. We're back in the free zone, folks. Alright, well, people don't want to play against Big Red, I guess. That's 3 games that opponent scoops each time, but it's been fun playing the deck. I'll try to get one more game in, but my dog needs to go outside, apparently, if you can hear her whining. So I'll be back in a moment, but for CyclesGaming.com, this is Johnny Cycles. I'll catch y'all on the next one.
This is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, and this has been another edition of Dragons and Modern. Be sure to go to my site and check out all of my original Magic the Gathering content, where I post articles and video of my janky modern brews in my commander decks. I'm also publishing a couple chapters every month for my science fiction fantasy novel called The Pod Kind. Check me out on YouTube as well. Click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.